This is Sybert signing into Kane's Wrath. On the map, Tournament Odyssey in the southern position on the left side of the map as the pink Scrin. This is BikeRushOwnz. And in the top right-hand corner as the blue GDI, this is Drive. And this is 1.03, so things may look a little bit funky, a little bit weird. I believe there's like a version that just came out as I'm casting this in early December, and I think this is the version just before that. So already, this is an out-of-date version of the game. This was sent to me over by Masterleaf, and this one goes out to Timothy over on Patreon, who has had to deal with some extra stuff this year, and he likes Kane's Wrath, but also he just really likes Masterleaf and BikeRushOwnz. And this replay has a little bit of both. Masterleaf was indeed watching this as it played out, so he was watching over it, and he's the one who sent me this replay. And of course, BikeRushOwnz is indeed playing in it. And he's not playing a Nod faction, so we will see what exactly he has planned for us. But if Masterleaf did watch this live, he may have also been streaming or casting it, and either for YouTube on a VOD or live streaming it over on Twitch. And if you haven't seen Masterleaf's stuff, it is definitely some good stuff that you should check out. Scouting Rifleman Squad gets cleaned up, and it's curious because this portal is here for BikeRushOwnz. So everything is looking pretty normal for Bike Rush. You know, double refinery, 4 harvesters up, a 5th one most likely on the way. But he's kept this portal around, and he's just powered it down, so that's kind of interesting. Everything on the drive side of things is looking pretty normal as well. BikeRushOwnz takes this portal off of that power down mode, gets it back up and running, and he is continuing to anti-scout pretty darn heavily. As you can see, it's like 3 buzzer squads there, 3 more down here. There were a couple over here that were killing that rifleman squad, so he is clearing out everything that Drive has and making sure that nothing gets through. Drive, on the other hand, well, he's just rocking and rolling with his natural expansion, both of them saturated at their main base and getting their natural expansions up and running as well. Scouting Pitbull, that will not be stopped by the buzzer hives or the buzzer swarms of BikeRushOwnz. That Scouting Pitbull is going to see exactly what's going on. It's going to be descents. There are 4 descent squads here, so not an overwhelming number from Bike Rush. He's just going for 5 descents, and of course these aren't fast leg descents, but they do have some kind of enhanced beams upgrade. I didn't even know about this. What? This is a thing. Huh. Increases attack damage. Okay, so there's a $500 upgrade. This is either relatively new or no one has really got it too much before. Although I don't think he actually has purchased it yet. That's kind of interesting that there is an upgrade though. So anyways, did he just finish it? I can't tell. Anyways, there is an upgrade, and it looks like these are going to be extra effective descents for BikeRushOwnz. Command post and airfield up and running, AP ammo on the way, and considering that these are super-powered descents, I mean, they're not fast leg, but they're still powerful, extra-powerful descents, you are definitely going to need AP ammo to fend these guys off. Watchtowers coming up, 2 watchtowers. Oh, he sells that one off. I don't know if that's actually going to be a good thing or not. A couple of gunwalkers mixed in with this army. Bike Rush, he's on this 1.5 base economy as he's got his natural expansion up and running, and his main base is starting to dry up. So he is going to have enough cash to fuel a nice mid-game attack. 1 power plant going to be going down almost for certain, but this attack which may not do much more beyond that. Low power mode, never a good thing for anyone to deal with, but AP ammo was up and running before this attack even got here. Force fields coming up for the gunwalkers, so they are going to get that extra bit of defense, extra bit of survivability against these GDI forces, and it's actually double airfield into Firehawks, got that tier 3 rockin', so this is going to be a potentially very powerful force for Drive, and he is going to get the bombs off on the technology assembler, but not enough to clean it up. I think one of the Firehawks actually went down before the bombs even dropped. A storm column and a plasma missile battery plus 3-4 gunwalkers are going to make this almost impossible to kill without some serious trades. You could dive on it with some Firehawks, and you would probably get the kill, but you would be trading out 3 or 4 Firehawks. Absolutely. Double airfield sticks around. He does not reduce down to just one airfield. And as we look past our natural expansions to our third bases and the late game, this game could get a little bit messy for either one of these players. They're going to be out of cash relatively soon if they don't get that third base up and rocking soon. The technology assembler still around. It looks like it may have gotten replaced as the original one went down and a second one was built by Bike Rush to replace it. So you kill one and another one pops up to replace it. Drive with Railgun Mammoths and Railgun Preds is going to have to face down the guns of this Scrin army knocking on his front door. AP ammo, APCs, and an armory on the front line, as well as a couple of foxholes with nothing really inside of them, maybe one rifleman squad, as the stasis locks down the power plant, locks down the mammoth as well, keeping them out of this fight. A husk does get bombed to nothing, and I actually don't know if this defense is going to be enough. Maybe once this mammoth tank comes back online, these tripods won't stand as much of a chance, but with a fourth tripod coming in to help finish things off, the Firehawks clean up another tripod, so we're actually just down to the 2 tripods, but no mammoth tanks for Drive. He's mounting a defense with Firehawks, with watchtowers, and with the last remaining units reinforcing this area. He's trying to get a barracks up. He's trying to capture some of these husks and stop them from being turned back, or from being destroyed or turned back over to Bike Rush's side. He wants to capture them for himself. I don't know if he'll actually be able to do that. 3 tripod husks could definitely be the makings of a strong late-game army for Drive. Looks like the repair drone's not necessarily doing a whole lot for Bike Rush, but behind this, he is going to be taking his third base faster than Drive, and Drive still stuck down here on the low ground. He's going to be able to claim at least 2 of these husks. It looks like the third one may have gotten either run over by the mammoth tanks or got cleaned up. Oh, his harvester's getting bugged. That is super annoying. The harvester over here getting bugged, stopping the other 2 harvesters from refining, even though it itself could not actually refine. And Drive is not going for a traditional third base. He is going aggressive. He is going to be looking to base push Bike Rush with a single MCV into a third base. And Bike Rush is already set up and established here. He's got something queued on the defense tab. It could be a storm column. It could be another plasma missile battery. But Firehawks leading the charge over here to the left side of the map, and going to be potentially cutting south to clean up a warp sphere or something else. The sell-off does happen. There's a little bit of splash on the tripod, but Drive's forces turn around. They decide this is not the fight for them. Drive selling off one of the airfields, just going to be keeping around 4 of those Firehawks. And Drive, he's a big fan of that combo move, the Firehawks and the Orca Strike getting called in to try and clear up those buildings and get the guaranteed kill. But Bike Rush a little bit too fast for that, going to get the sale and the cash back. Bike Rush with so many harvesters here on the front line, but not enough refineries for all of the harvesters to actually unload that cash. Hammerhead's going to be showing up. A distinct lack of anti-air here for BikeRushOwnz. He does have the plasma missile battery, which nearly gets a kill on one of the Hammerheads, but the other one does escape pretty much scot-free. Tripods on the front line, 4 of them here, but I don't know that that's going to be a match for the 4 mammoth tanks, 2 tripods, and hammerheads on the side of Drive. Drive, on the other hand, I don't know what he did. He turned his MCV back around. He decided he didn't want to contend with Bike Rush over at Bike Rush's third field, and instead wanted to go for his own third field. He's got that up and rolling, but kind of like Bike Rush, he's at the situation where he doesn't quite have enough refineries for the number of harvesters that he has. Buzzer Swarm coming in for a little bit of a scout. BikeRushOwnz might be looking to unleash a one-click upon the base of Drive, although I don't know that he actually has too many one-clicks to unleash. He's got the nerve center, but that's pretty much his only tech structure at the current moment. He's forced to sell everything else off, I guess, either low on cash or something else happened. But 2 refineries, lots of harvesters up on the third field for both players. As you can see, harvesters queuing up just to unload that Tiberium. And double airfield. I guess we did see this a moment ago, but I didn't actually call it out. Lots of Storm Riders are here for Bike Rush. He's actually going to go up to 12 Storm Riders, so the 8 are not good enough. They are going to be able to catch the Firehawks. One of the gravity stabilizers goes down immediately, and all 4 Firehawks trade out for it. He keeps the airfield around. He's got hammerheads coming out, so that's what he's using it for production-wise. But these... well, I don't know how much they're actually going to be getting done. I assume there's something queued up here. No, there's no base defense queued up here for Drive, so he himself getting a little bit of damage done with his hammerheads earlier on against Bike Rush, but now Bike Rush returning the favor, and Drive severely lacking in anti-air. And at the same time, Bike Rush hasn't, at this point, well, now he's losing a bunch of Storm Riders. He hadn't actually lost anything. That was like a perfect engagement there by Bike Rush for the first couple of moments before he basically lost all of the Storm Riders for not a particularly good reason. It looks like 4 of them may have ended up surviving, or maybe just these 2 here that are super low on health. Firehawks, one of them was flying around. I don't actually know where it ended up going. It looked like it stratofightered out as it disappears there to the top of the screen, and I guess he's returning to base. Drive powering up for a big punch over here on the left side of the map. At the same time, BikeRushOwnz powering up for his own base-killing move here on the right side of the map. A couple of Gunwalkers and a couple of Shock Troopers, the only anti-air in this army for BikeRushOwnz. He's going to have to pull in the Storm Riders to defend against the Hammerheads and the Firehawks as he pushes those away, and it looks like it is going to be enough. BikeRushOwnz going to be able to clean up 2, 3 Hammerheads before Drive even responds. He gets every single Hammerhead, and Drive just lets it happen because Drive is clearing out the base of Bike Rush here in the south as the base trade continues, and neither one of the players wants to commit to the defense, wants to commit to saving their own structures. And it looks like going to be grabbing one of the Tiberium spikes of his opponent. He's moved his MCV. BikeRushOwnz, I assume, is doing the same thing. I don't actually know where his MCV escaped off to. A couple of buildings getting left here by BikeRushOwnz. He's going instead for the economy. He's going to try and cut off all of those refineries and then, I guess, mount some kind of a defense back at home or something. But BikeRushOwnz, his drone ship flying away to the north. He's going to try and take the original main base of Drive, but at the same time, actually, Drive sells off the airfield and the infrastructure that was over there, selling off the barracks as well, just trying to get out enough cash to potentially get maybe 1 more refinery. He does have 3 TIB spikes, or 3 TIB spikes here on the map, so he does have a little bit of income. He's about to have a 4th TIB spike, and that is going to be really his only active income on this map. Mammoth tanks, a tripod from long, long ago in this game. AP ammo, APCs, rocket squads, and riflemen all here on the front lines for Drive to cut through the base of BikeRushOwnz. And BikeRushOwnz, actually these power plants are quite exposed. Cleaning up all 4 of them might be a better way of dealing with these buzzer hives than just endlessly shooting the buzzer squads that emerge out of them. BikeRushOwnz reforming his army, dev tanks and tripods here near the original main base of Drive. He's going to try and mount some kind of a defense against Drive, and this may actually end up, Drive's army is a little bit spread out, but also a little bit vulnerable to these attacks as he cleans up the last refinery of BikeRushOwnz. So BikeRushOwnz in a similar place to Drive. He's trying to recap some of those TIB spikes so he can have some kind of late game economy to work himself out of this position that he's in. Mammoth tanks getting pulled back, and Drive's army, having been beaten back by Masterleaf, leaves behind a husk of a tripod. I think I said Masterleaf instead of Bike Rush. Bike Rush may actually be able to take advantage of that. He has reclaimed both of the TIB spikes, so he does have that bit of income. Both of these players will survive for the current moment, and they will somehow make it through to, I guess, the next phase of this game, which is start over. We have some late game units in these armies, but the actual buildings that are on the map look like it's the first couple of minutes of the game. other than this clustering of 3 power plants and this what would be a terrible placement of a refinery in a different game, but it is a last-ditch effort by BikeRushOwnz in this particular game. And these Storm Riders trying to trade out against these APCs. One of the APCs going fully heroic, going to be doing that bonus damage to these Storm Riders. And the Storm Riders badly bruised, 3 of them very close to death, and 2 more not doing particularly well. It's going to be a minute before BikeRushOwnz is actually able to get up enough forces or to get up enough infrastructure to rebuild that gravity stabilizer to potentially replace any of these Storm Riders. So these losses might be more permanent losses to his army and somewhat unreplaceable for the next minute or so of this game. Firehawks out on the field. They survived long enough for an airfield to be constructed so that they could refuel and become useful. And of course, the nice thing is, having purchased that Stratofighter upgrade so much longer ago in this game, he can still zip around the map, perform bombing runs against power plants or against production facilities, although with just 2 Firehawks, you're not going to be killing a whole lot of stuff. But you can pick off power plants, barracks, potentially even a stasis chamber with just 2. Not the refineries so much, or actually a drone ship in the air against the anti-air missiles of the Firehawks. They may actually kill off the drone ship, just the 2 of them. I don't know that I've ever actually seen that happen. Maybe once or twice over the course of Kane's Wrath, but I'm sure it's definitely happened. I just don't know that I've ever seen it. But command post up and running, but also a quote-unquote natural expansion for Drive. I guess this is kind of like his 5th base, but of course he doesn't have the first 3 bases, so really the equivalent of his natural expansion back at Bike Rush's original natural expansion. Drive with a big army grouped together. He's going to be looking to make some headway against the forces of BikeRushOwnz, and this heroic APC may not actually last the night as it gets blasted by that tripod. Did Drive, it doesn't look like Drive packed along any engineers, which is a bit unfortunate for him because reclaiming those husks would certainly be nice. Descent's going to be diving on top of these mammoth tanks. They may not actually get the one that's very low on health. Splitting the damage across both mammoth tanks means that neither one of them actually went down. They took a significant amount of damage, but they didn't actually get eliminated there. And into low power mode, but the stasis chamber catches 90% of this army as BikeRushOwnz is going to be looking to close the distance. His gunwalkers are going to be in a perfect spot, as well as this buzzer hive to just kill all of this infantry that Drive had. Drive's entire attack just gets stopped in its tracks. Charged up tripods crush this tank, and the buzzers swarm that entire squad of infantry, killing absolutely everything as poor Drive's army gets just annihilated, and he may actually accidentally run over this husk and destroy it, and unable to reclaim it. Unfortunately for Drive, he loses that opportunity to get that husk, but I guess if he was never trying to get it in the first place, then it doesn't really matter. Yeah, he was trying to get it. That sucks for him. All right, Drive, how are you going to try and pull this out? You just lost like 50% of your army, and he's got mammoth tanks, he's got pred tanks to follow this up, but BikeRushOwnz is a master of doing a lot with a little. So I would not count BikeRush out at all, especially since he's got Defender's Advantage, he's got that new Descent upgrade, and he's got double portal descents pumping out onto this map. And actually, with these harvesters, long-distance mining would almost be effective with the pure number that he has. Actually, a number of these have a bunch of Tyrium in them. A little bit of an oversight there by BikeRushOwnz. A little bit of a mistake. It's actually a Hammerhead going to be running onto the front line. It gets annihilated as it just was not controlled well there by Drive. He just left it on the front line to die. And Drive getting pushed back, further back, by the army of BikeRushOwnz. BikeRushOwnz claims 1, 2 mammoths maybe, as he gets a second one narrowly there, and he's starting to lose pieces of his army, but he's eating away so many of the forces of Drive. A beacon called out by BikeRush as he realizes he had all of those harvesters off the line just doing nothing, and Drive, with almost no units left, is going to have to mount a miracle defense to hold this off. Maybe some really good rotations of these Predator tanks. He does actually have a Mammoth tank here. And the Pred tanks and the Mammoth, with the railguns against 3 tripods. I mean, one of these tripods is down below half health, and the other one is at, you know, a little over half health, but with the force field. So Drive is actually going to be able to hold on for the current moment. He does commence a bombing run against that refinery, but he only gets it down to maybe about a third health. Not actually enough to finish it off. Although BikeRushOwnz may not actually have the cash to actively repair that. And the Orca Strike coming in is almost going to finish it off. These Firehawks, once they refuel, if they can Stratofighter over there, they're going to be able to finish off that refinery almost certainly. Yeah, no repair from BikeRush, so goodbye Extractor when eventually those Firehawks head over there, and then that is going to be a lot of active harvesting for BikeRushOwnz completely gone as, well, here come the Firehawks. At the same time, BikeRush on the left side of the map going to be, and he calls them back. He Stratofighters over there, and then he calls them back to defend this side of the map. Descents crushing forward, but pulling back as the tripods do the actual damage to Drive. And Drive, having moved his MCV over here to the right side, is actually in vision of those base defenses of BikeRushOwnz. It's tripods, gunwalkers, and descents for BikeRushOwnz as, well, these mines may actually be a little bit effective here if he can... Nope. That's not going to be anything. Nothing doing for Drive as he GGs and taps out of that game. BikeRushOwnz with the long victory as we approach like the 22-minute mark in this wonky base trade scenario. And a little bit of a plateau there for BikeRush. That might actually have been where those harvesters were pulled off the line. But eventually, he got everything back up and running, and that stasis was clutch, shutting down Drive's army, buying himself so much time, and then forcing the rest of Drive's army to pull back. And then BikeRush just crushed that little pocket that got trapped in the stasis. An absolutely clutch stasis there for BikeRushOwnz. That will do it for this game. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And, well, this is Sybert signing out.